Before we start working with Python, we need to decide how to run it. There are many different ways. Terminal, Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Lab, VS Code, Anaconda Notebooks, Google Colab. Don't worry. In this video, I'll explain the differences so you can make an informed choice. If Python is installed on your machine, the most basic way to run it is through the terminal. You can create a simple Python file with a .py extension. Let's name it test.py. Open it in any text editor like Notepad++ and add some code. Print structural engineering is awesome. Do a calculation like 4 plus 5 and print the result. To run it, open the terminal in that folder and type python test.py. That's it. You'll see structural engineering is awesome and the result 9. But this approach isn't very interactive. You need to edit the file, save it, and run it again every time you want to test something. That's where Jupyter Notebooks come in. Think of it as an interactive workspace. Instead of writing code in a static file, you work in cells that you can run individually. This means you can test one piece of code, see the results immediately, then continue without rerunning everything. It's perfect for engineering work as you can mix code, text explanations, equations, and images in a single document. For example, you might have one cell with all the beam properties, another text cell that shows beam deflection formula, next one that implements deflection functions, then another cell that plots the results, all in one place with live calculations. This notebook concept has become incredibly popular in data science and engineering. Let me show you how to run it. The easiest way to get it is through the Anaconda distribution, which includes Python itself, plus many useful libraries we'll use in this course. You can download Anaconda from their website. You'll likely need to create an account and sign in. Then click on the green distribution icon and download the installer for your operating system. Run the installer and follow the steps. Keeping default settings is fine. Important note about licensing. Anaconda is free for students, individual practitioners, and proof of concept projects. For commercial use in business, you should check with your IT department, as a license may be required. Once installed, you can open Jupyter Notebook from the Start menu. But there's a problem. It typically opens in your user folder, which can be hard to navigate from. Here's a better workflow. First, navigate to your project folder in File Explorer and copy its path. Open the Anaconda PowerShell prompt, not the regular Anaconda prompt. It can be confusing. Type cd quotation marks and paste your folder path using Ctrl Insert. Ctrl V doesn't always work in terminals. Close the quotation marks and hit Enter. Now type Jupyter Notebook. This will initialize Jupyter and open it in your browser. Here you can create a new notebook by clicking New Python-free IPY kernel, add code cells like the one previously defined, and even add markdown cells for notes and headers. Don't worry about replicating any of this code now. We'll cover how to use notebooks in detail in the next video. Jupyter Notebook is great for learning as it has a clean interface. You only see cells and the toolbar at the top. Nothing else to distract you. The files you create have a .ipynb extension, which stands for IPython Notebook. This is because Jupyter Notebooks originally grew out of a project called IPython Notebook. But today, Jupyter supports many languages beyond just Python. Confusingly, we call both the file and the environment Jupyter Notebook. In this video, you should be able to tell from the context, but in the future videos when I say Jupyter Notebooks, I'm typically referring to the files themselves. Jupyter Notebook, the environment, is getting somewhat dated. Recently, an improved version called Jupyter Lab was developed. To open it, either click the Jupyter Lab button at the top of your open Jupyter Notebook environment, or better, use the same PowerShell workflow. Navigate to your folder, copy the path, open PowerShell prompt, type cd, paste the path in quotation marks, press enter, type Jupyter Lab and press enter again. Jupyter Lab is a refreshed, integrated environment with additional functionality that feels more modern. Notice the sidebar showing files in your working directory. When you open new files, they stay in the same browser tab, but appear as new tabs within Lab itself. You can also create split views to see multiple files side by side. Just drag a file or a tab to the side. When you see a blue outline, release. Now you're working with two files simultaneously. Navigation is easier too. Click the Table of Contents button in the sidebar to jump directly to any header. Copying across cells between files is another feature I like. Let's create a new notebook by clicking File, New, Notebook, and open it in a split view. Now go back to the original file, select the top 3 cells by holding Ctrl and clicking down arrow. Now simply drag and drop them into the new notebook. Once you get some familiarity with classic Jupyter Notebook, I recommend to try Jupyter Lab, since it's essentially the same product with a few extra features. But what if you cannot get Anaconda's licensing at work? Or, like me, you find a two-step process to open Jupyter and change directories inconvenient. That's where Visual Studio comes in. It's a lightweight, completely free development environment, so there is no reason for the IT not to approve it. Don't confuse it with Visual Studio. Both are Microsoft products, but they're quite different. VS Code is a free, lightweight code editor perfect for Python. Visual Studio is a full integrated development environment, mainly for commercial software development in languages like C# or C++. But this is a way too advanced tool for our purposes. When you try to run Python cells in VS Code, you'll be prompted to select a Python interpreter. Don't worry about this now. I'll walk through the complete setup, including environments, in the next video. VS Code is lightweight, so it loads instantly. To open files, just drag and drop them into the window, or set working directory by clicking Explorer, Open Folder, Add your path, click Select Folder, and access now all the files from the sidebar. Files open in tabs, and you can even create a split view of the same file. This is incredibly useful, allowing you to scroll through the document while keeping another section visible on the side for reference. Navigation is easy too. The outline view in the sidebar links directly to every header in your file, in a similar way to Table of Contents in Jupyter Lab. Click to jump anywhere instantly. I really like the modern look of VS Code, but you can customize it further by changing the color theme. Go to File, Preferences, Themes, Color Theme, or use the shortcut Ctrl-K, Ctrl-T. You'll see a variety of options. Many programmers prefer the dark theme, but there are plenty of colors to choose from, so you can pick whatever works for you. VS Code works similarly to the previously mentioned IDEs, but adds powerful features like IntelliSense, a code completion tool that shows function definitions, parameters, and documentation, if available, as you type. Ctrl plus left mouse button takes you to the given code definition. Recent versions even include AI-assisted coding if you sign into GitHub that can autocomplete common algorithms. If I start typing bubble sort, pressing tab completes it for me. Finally, there are cloud options that let you run Jupyter Notebooks completely online and free. You can start coding immediately in your browser without installing anything. This is a great option if you can't install software on your work computer, you want to share notebooks easily with colleagues, or you're just first trying things out. There are many providers like Google Colab, Kaggle, or Anaconda. For this course, I recommend Anaconda notebooks. On the website, sign in and click the Jupyter icon to start a new session. In the sidebar, you can either create a new notebook or use the file browser to upload an existing one. The interface feels similar to Jupyter Lab. If your notebook contains images, they won't display until you upload them separately. My images are stored in an img folder, so I'll create that folder in the sidebar and upload all images there. Now reopen the notebook with the images loaded. You can navigate easily using the table of contents icon in the sidebar to jump between sections. Google Colab works similarly. Sign in with your Google account and upload your notebook. Cells can be immediately executed. The table of contents button works the same way, letting you navigate easily through sections. For images, go to a text cell and click the image button to upload. It works, but I think it's more effort than Anaconda, where you can just drag images into a folder. Cloud options are alright, but I recommend installing Python locally for a few reasons. Firstly, speed. Your local machine will typically run structural calculations faster than the cloud servers. I've had glitches before where a simple cell took way longer than it should have. Secondly, privacy. Your data stay on your computer. Offline work. You can work anywhere without internet. And finally, consistency. You'll be in control of your environment. That said, if you're following along on a work laptop with restrictions or just want to test the waters first, Anaconda notebooks or Google Colab work fine. All the code we write will run there too. You can always install locally later. So, what should you choose? If you're a complete beginner, I recommend starting with Jupyter Notebook through Anaconda. It's the most straightforward. Anaconda installs everything you need in one package, and Jupyter's single document interface is easier to grasp when you're starting out. If you're working on larger projects or want a more professional setup, Jupyter Lab offers a multi-panel workspace that's great for managing multiple notebooks side by side. It's included with Anaconda, so you can switch between Notebook and Lab anytime. VS Code is my preferred environment. It's faster, has excellent IntelliSense for auto-completion, and feels more like a professional development tool. Many engineers start with Jupyter and graduate to VS Code as their projects grow. You can always install VS Code alongside Anaconda. They work together perfectly fine. My recommendation for this course: start with Jupyter Notebook via Anaconda distribution, and you can always explore other options later as you become more comfortable.